Hi everyone, Kenny Do So with Coach Do So Conditioning. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about patience in training. The reason I feel this topic can be so underrated comes from my own experiences as a competitive powerlifter. In my early training days, I was taught that if you want to get stronger, basically the best or only way to do it is to lift as heavy as possible, as often as possible. You can imagine, as a 15-year-old kid, I loved hearing that because being able to load as much weight as I possibly could onto a bar was great for the ego. And trying to compete in powerlifting, obviously my goal was as heavy of a squat, bench press, and deadlift as I could possibly do. If you're not familiar with the sport, those are the three lifts you do in competition. So what I would do is basically 4 or 5 days a week, I would load up the heaviest weight I could on a squat, the heaviest weight I could on a bench, and the heaviest weight I could on a deadlift. What I soon began to realize, though, unfortunately, is that the human body is far from invincible. Over the years, I started developing issues in my shoulders, issues in my knees, issues in my back, and so many more that I couldn't even name. At the time, the way I looked at it was, well, this is all part of it. I'm working hard, I'm training hard, I'm lifting heavy, I'm going to feel some pain every once in a while. There was a little while where this went great. I was getting stronger pretty steadily. I hit a ton of personal bests, won some competitions, and even broke some Canadian records. To keep the short version of this, basically this all came to a conclusion when I was warming up my deadlift at a competition when I was 22, and I tore a muscle in my lower back, and the next day physically couldn't get out of bed. I started to realize that, hey, maybe this was not the smartest way to go about training. When I was able to get back to it, I started rebuilding slowly. For the first time, I realized that, hey, I don't need to be lifting the heaviest weight in the room. I just need to be lifting what my body's physically able to do at that time and build my strength instead of testing it every single time I hit the gym. This is a mistake that unfortunately I still see a lot of young athletes making. It's really easy when you see whatever your friend is lifting to try to jump in and lift that extra 10 pounds just to prove that you're stronger than he is or you're stronger than she is or whatever. But especially if you're trying to have a career in a sport, understand that first of all, strength isn't the only factor to come into play. And second of all, learning how to lift properly, learning how to train properly, and learning how to progressively build that over time is going to serve you so well in the future. So put your ego aside, be honest with yourself about where you're at, and start to progress from there. Instead of trying to jump the line and do what everyone else is doing that has been training way longer than you, be honest, figure out where you're at, and start to do the work from there. If you learn to love the process, you learn to love training for where you're at, you're going to see such a better result long term, and you're setting yourself up for so much more success in the future. If you made it through the whole video, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.